Okay, now we have completed talking about starter troubleshooting. Our next possible fault item is the ignition switch. For troubleshooting of the ignition switch we will need our meter once again. In addition we will also need some basic hand tools such as a Phillips head screwdriver and a small Allen key wrench. First loosen the footwell cover by removing the Phillips screws. After loosening the cover you should have enough room to access the two plastic rivets in the lower steering wheel trim piece. Using a small Allen wrench or any other small thin tool, push the center piece of the rivet inwards for both rivets. Grabbing the trim piece from the lower end and pull downwards. The trim piece should pop out. Work your way up popping the trim piece all the way off. You should now have access to the ignition switch. Again use your multimeter to measure DC voltage and have the black lead at the negative terminal post of the battery. Let's use the red lead now to make measurements backprobing the ignition switch. The wires we are concerned with is the red with blue stripe, and the black with blue stripe. The red with blue stripe is 12 volts that comes from fuse 105 in the glove box. The black with blue stripe wire goes to the use module. This switch is normally open but closes when the driver has the key is position 3 for crank. First let's make sure we have the 12 volts on the red wire. 12 volts should always be on this wire, even when the car is off. If you do not see 12 volts while backprobing this wire, that means that fuse 105 is blown and needs to be replaced. The red with green stripe wire will also have 12 volts, but this one is providing power to other instruments for when the key is in either position 1 or 2. Turn key to position 1. 12 volts should appear on the violet wire now. Turn key to position 2. 12 volts should now appear on the green wire as well now. Lastly, let's measure the last black with blue stripe wire. Voltage should appear here while cranking. Turn key to crank position and watch the voltage. The voltage should go up to almost 12 volts or whatever your typical battery cranking voltage is. If you notice the voltage is low, that indicates that there is excessive resistance between the contacts and the ignition switch. The contacts tend to arc each time as it is used, and after years of abuse the contacts get all burnt. Simply replace the ignition switch to correct this issue. You can also disassemble and clean the contacts of the switch, but I would only consider that a temporary fix, as the contacts will continue to arc and eat away at the remaining metal. New contacts have a protective layer that handles the electrical arcs better. Only by OEM or OE.